Greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings. Assalamu alaikum. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be in your midst. We're going to get started on our show here today and get started with our topic, which is a very powerful and sincere topic. Very powerful, very sincere topic. And you and I, brothers and sisters, have much to learn. Concerning the tricks and the wiles of the devil. I think it's okay for me to say that because Satan himself is very slick and a very untrustworthy individual when we talk about the devil. I want you to excuse me for having on my coat tonight. It's a little chilly in here for me. And but nonetheless, we have a great show in front of us. And we are still determined to point out every trick of the enemy and to have every discussion that we must in this day and time. It's going to be helpful and beneficial to us as a people. And we are faced with so many things going on around us until we have to be careful, brothers and sisters. We've got to be steadfast, we've got to be unmovable, we have to be always abound in the work that God has set before us. That's our job. That's the place that God wants you and I in today. In this very difficult period, this is where God wants us. And brothers and sisters, we have to be, as I said, steadfast. We have to be immovable. We have to pay close attention to what is going on. What is going on? What is happening to us? And what has happened to us as it relates to our past? What has happened to us? Why do we think at a record slow mathematics when it comes to brothers and sisters from among us who have consistently showed us what side of the line they're on and where they will be in light that trouble were to break out physically, spiritually, socially, and otherwise against us. Now, brothers and sisters, we're going to take our time. I know there are individuals that may be upset, and that's fine. We understand. Indeed, we understand. But this shall not all cause us to take our mind off of what you and I know is going on. So we're going to stay focused. We have to stay focused. While these things are happening, we've got to stay focused. Because at our sister's Janazah, the Janazah of Sister Ava Muhammad, Dr. Ava Muhammad, and her Janazah, right? During her Muslim service, her homegoing, right? Was distracted and disturbed by agents in her immediate dwelling. Guests of Minister Farrakhan, white devils, at the sister's Janazah service. Now, you'll have to give me a minute, because the minute that I saw it happening, I was shook up. And not only are devils there, but Farrakhan goes out of his way to acknowledge the devil, Father Pflager. I mean, go out of his way to acknowledge that devil and to tell him, oh yes, I love you too. Father Pflager, I love you too. And I had gotten a clip of this because I wanted the people to know that my confusion is warranted and well-founded. I wanted the people to know. And yes, I am confused, brothers and sisters. I had to be patient until the title came around because I am confused. I do not understand it. I do not understand it. The amount of disrespect, callousness, and the amount of utter disregard for the Janazah of our sister. Didn't understand. And there are others that are just as confused. I guarantee you. There are others that are as much confused. I've talked to hundreds of Muslims where they have called me to understand my disgust. Not just not just the Muslims under the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as it relates to Silas Muhammad, but a great amount of Muslims under the Most Minister Louis Farrakhan in respect to the title that he's called. Farrakhan Muslim, that word, and are as upset as I am that a devil was at our sister's Janazah, and to wonder what is going on through Farrakhan's mind today. Is he in his right mind? So, brothers and sisters, this is going to be a difficult walk. The journey is going to be difficult, and I invite you along with me to walk with me on this journey, because it is indeed a difficult journey. It's a difficult journey indeed, and we seek answers. I don't believe in hypocrisy. I don't believe in being mealy-mouthed. I don't believe in tiptoeing through the tulips. But these answers we seek now, and we like an answer now as to what was going on in the mind of Farrakhan. And I pray that we can get some understanding. That is my desire, my prayer, that you and I will be able to get some understanding. We have to be able to get some understanding. And we have to be willing to question these evolutions that Minister Farrakhan is making. You have to question it. And what you need to understand, brothers and sisters, is that Farrakhan is not above reproach. Not above reproach. He must be questioned. He must be checked, and he must be charted. He's not beyond reproach, and he's not above reproach. You have to understand that. There are people upset with me right now. There were Muslims that called when they saw the title. They were very aggravated. And as I told them, don't be aggravated with me. You should be trying to research what I'm saying and to see if there's any validity to it. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be upset with me. You shouldn't be upset with me. You should be trying to study to see if there's any validity to what I'm saying. That's what you should be doing. So this subject is going to be hot and heavy, brothers and sisters. It has to be. It's going to be a hot and heavy subject. Hot and heavy. So I ask you to take your time tonight. I ask you to be aware of what's going on tonight. Be aware of the subject tonight, because it's a very difficult pass. For those out there who do not understand, a janazah is a Muslim's funeral prayer and part of the Islamic funeral ritual. Brothers and sisters, for this intent that are members of the Nation of Islam, International Islam, right, as it relates to the black man in America. And a bier or a coffin is used to transport and bury the body of this deceased individual. So, and this funeral, as it relates, or the ritual, Islamic ritual, as it relates to the deceased, brothers and sisters, it should be the last, the very, very last place brothers and sisters could pay their respects. Now, when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad would have janazah of Muslims, black Muslims, there weren't to be any white people involved. You have to understand the dynamic of this. And that's why I tell you that agents today are showing their hand faster today than any other time of our period, because God, and that's who it is, God is pulling the cover off, so to speak. He's pulling the cover off all hypocrites, backbiters, liars, and deceivers, brothers and sisters. And we are made to feel dissatisfied with anything less than respect of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I mean, I don't understand, because I don't, why brothers and sisters are allowing these things to go on. I don't understand the ignorance of the justification of actions that go directly against Muslim teachings. I don't understand it. And you'll have to accept that, because I refuse to be a hypocrite and tell you different. I don't understand what's going on. I don't accept what's going on, because I think it was the ultimate, and is, thank you, brother, the ultimate disrespect of our sister to have the white man right there, center seat, ringside, for the blessing and blessed ceremony that we'll send to our sister. So I don't understand what's going on. Peace and greetings, Sister Yafaya, Yisrael. Peace and greetings. Salam alaikum. So I can't understand what's going on. I don't have any understanding of what's going on, and as to why Farrakhan keeps flirting with these white devils. Now here we are at the sister's janazah, right? Fix myself up here, brothers and sisters. And at the sister's Janazah, he dare makes a comment to Father Pflager that he loves him too. I mean, here you are, just going against everything Muhammad taught. How can we declare with this kind of action Farrakhan as a Muslim at the highest respect and regard for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad? Brothers and sisters, I know not. I know not. So I am wretched and torn, and have been ever since during the observation of the live Janazah that we see him say that. I mean, any indication of fealty to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the fact that we would keep his teachings, right? Keep his commandments as it relates to the teachings and commandments that he was given from Master Fard Muhammad. Brother and sister, we've seen deviation. We talked before. We saw deviation. We see deviation with the teaching of Dianetics. Deviation with the company of devils. How bad crowds have corrupted good manners. We continue to see the display and disrespect for the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as these white people are allowed to come in, and which is nothing but mockery of our sister who taught black nationalism, right? Black separation or black death. So I hope that in my desire and my prayer is that brothers and sisters can really see what's going on here. You can really see what's going on. Now, Minister Farrakhan has went out of his way, absolutely, out of his way to align himself with this white devil. Absolutely out of his way. Brothers and sisters, it's inexcusable. It is inexcusable. At the sister's Janazah, for you to yell to a white devil, Father Pflager, yes, I love you too. All you have to do is go and look. I provided the clip. All you have to do is go and look. Despicable, brothers and sisters. Totally despicable. You know, I understand when in the scriptures tell the brothers and sisters to be hot or cold. Be hot or cold, because if you're lukewarm, I'll spill you out. These are the words of God. Words representing God. Be hot or cold. Because if you're lukewarm, I spew you out. Farrakhan says black nationalism and thinking integration. All you have to do is look. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. This is the reason you have so-called white, brown, and so-called red Muslim in the temple, right? And a white, middle-bred, white homophobic cracker, Father Pflager, right there in the center of Muslim. Right there in the center of Muslim. You can't deny this. Brothers and sisters, you have to pay attention to what's going on. You can't deny it. You getting angry with me is not going to fix it. We have to accept what's going on, that we've been duped, we've been had, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, and run amok. The teachings and the mathematics of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad has been destroyed, interrupted by one who is being guided as an agent for the white man. And this confusion that we've often had around this brother at the destruction of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the interruption of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, as he seek to add to a knowledge that needed no help, to integrate a teaching that needed no addition, and now to integrate a color system equivalent to that of the enemy. That of the enemy. I'm going to certainly, sister, the sister wants to know where the link is, and I'm going to pull this link up. The clip. I'm going to certainly pull it up, and I'm going to give it to you. Because it's something that you should certainly have. I believe this is it. And it's disturbing to me. You're welcome. Most welcome, sister. Here's the clip. Now, for any other individual that want it, we'll put it inside of the feed. And I've been waiting, just often disturbed by this. I hate even watching it. There's the clip. You're able to tap on it yourself. It's inside the comments, but it is very, very disturbing. And you do these little things, they try to slip it by, but you have to understand exactly what's going on. You have to understand that the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is under attack. The disrespect of the ministers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is under attack. Under attack. And with little ways. If you look at any organization that was worthwhile to know, take the teachings of Marcus Garvey, right? And the Garveyites. If you look, brothers and sisters, with a sensitive eye and a sensitive ear, if you pay attention, you'll find that it wasn't large movements, but it was very small, minute movements that were made. Very small movements that were made. And these small movements, brothers and sisters, they chipped away, just chipping away at the very fabric of the education, the rulings, and the intelligence of the Garveyites. They continued to chip away at it. But at a top level, more than anything else, the white man sought to invade it. When you look, you have to look at the Nation of Islam as a country, however difficult, spiritually, socially, and otherwise, that's what it is. Built on the concept of black nationalism as a country. And when you see the white man invade when you see the white man invade, because that's what he does, the system of our black religious belief on whatever level, he's doing it toward destruction. When he came to Africa, what did he do? He came through religion. Same thing, the Catholic Church were the invaders of black spiritualism. Farrakhan is no different in his movement. It's no different. No different at all. And what's more, he does it at the sister's Janazah. It wouldn't have hurt this devil not to make a most sacred and spiritual meeting and last rite of our sister. The devil had no business being there. Brothers and sisters, no business being there. Peace and greetings, MDC 777. She reads, I agree, his whole tribute raised eyebrows on so many different levels. It was a tribute to Minister Farrakhan, not her service. Sacrifice, family, and accomplishment. Why lesbianism was brought up was odd too. You know, I appreciate that, sister, because that was the other point that we wanted to make. If you look at the decease of Dr. Khaled, when Dr. Khaled had Janazah, Farrakhan never performed his Janazah. What's more, after Dr. Khaled had passed, he began to talk about this narrative that Dr. Khaled had been violated as a child. Now, whether it was true or not, it's out of place for you to be speaking to us about something that was very private and privileged information between you and your minister. You see, the knowledge that he learned about people, if that is the case, because you never know, it could be a bombshell and a lie blown up to confuse brothers and sisters and further distort brothers and sisters of the faith, because he is so far away from the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad until it's ridiculous. And now he's calling himself the Mahdi. He's calling himself the Mahdi. If you are the Mahdi, then who is Master Fard Muhammad? Peace be upon him. If you are the Mahdi and the messenger now, then what is the place and value of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad? I just want to know, brothers and sisters, because I can't take any longer the hypocrisy and disrespect in the teachings against brothers and sisters, both Muslim and Christian, because all are part of the lost tribe of Shabazz. And brothers and sisters, if we don't stand up now, when Farrakhan is gone, you will see a further destruction of the Nation of Islam as it relates to the true teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, which Farrakhan cannot give us through his actions. He can't give it to us. He can't give it to us through his actions, brothers and sisters. So we've got to take our time with this. We've got to get some understanding and go back to the black Muslim teaching, message to the black man, which is the mind of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The mind. We've got to go back to the book of wisdom with the full circumference of the teaching of most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the knowledge and wisdom given to him by Master Fard Muhammad. If you can't see now that Farrakhan has deviated from the truth, brothers and sisters, there's no help for you. If you can't see it now, it should be plain to see that Farrakhan is too far extreme and compromising in his old age in this teaching, and that his teaching is not with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, but in fact against the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and against the system and teaching of black nationalism. What did our sister teach? What did our sister teach? Black separation or black death. What did Dr. Khaled teach? Black separation or black death. What did Minister Malcolm teach? Black separation or black death. What did the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teach? Black separation or black death. Who does all of these individuals have in common who were taken from us? Farrakhan, brothers and sisters. Farrakhan. And you'll miss it if you don't look at it with sensitive eyes, sensitive ears, a sensitive mind. You'll miss it. Brothers and sisters, there have been a wash down. There have been a dwindle down of the fruit of Islam, a dwindle down of the teachings of the Nation of Islam. Brothers and sisters, my fear, and it is my serious fear, that the fruit of Islam under Minister Farrakhan have become nothing more than daisy pickers holding hand with these white people, male or female, skipping through the garden, right, with an ineffective message. And this message takes away their militancy and make them docile. And there's nothing like seeing a docile Muslim. It's nothing like it. Whose fire has been taken out of his lamp, whose teeth has been dulled down, whose canines have been removed and replaced with bicuspids. I don't hate Farrakhan, brothers and sisters. Hate doesn't enter into it. I love the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I don't hate Farrakhan. I love Muslims. Right? And we are to worship the Mahdi. Is that right? And he said, those that worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. So we're speaking in the spirit. And we recall what is true in the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I just want you to know. I just want you to know that the enemy has used Farrakhan indeed. And when Farrakhan passes, I'd be surprised if his name isn't brought up after the full investigation, which is clearly timed, brothers and sisters, of the death of Minister Malcolm X. A full investigation which is clearly timed. But the minute Farrakhan dies, all of it will come out. You'll see. You'll see. Because he's never been in any danger. Never been in any danger. He's been pawn, a willing pawn, in the hands of a government that is concentrated, that is determined to keep black people down, and every move that he's made has done such. Every move. And the most potent weapon of depolarization amongst black nationalists and black Muslims was the March on Washington done by Minister Farrakhan, and we describe it as the second farce on Washington, otherwise known as the Justice or Else campaign. The Justice or Else campaign. We don't have justice and we don't have anything else. And brothers and sisters, our brother Witherspoon, peace be unto him, assalamu alaikum tonight, brother, is right when he says you've had a lot of FOI that is married to non-black women. This is true. This is true. I ask you tonight to join me and that we would increase our power to study the true teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, that we may be examples, the true teaching of our sister that told us it's division or separation, right, or death, that if we don't leave this enemy, that we will indeed end up dead men, dead women today. I invite you within yourselves, to become committed, to become determined to live the true teachings as taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as salvation, true salvation to us, true salvation to our people, and many others that will come asking, what must I do to be saved, brothers and sisters? And we have to have these teachings to be able to help them. Peace be unto you, the scientists. Assalamu alaikum. As our sisters pointed out, it had to be because it was never mentioned why Khalid was on the scene, placing himself above the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Could you touch a little on the semi-attacker? Here's the thing, and that's a great question. Here's the thing. He couldn't go, Farrakhan couldn't make the move because he made two moves. The first move and the announcement of it was in 1985, 1986, when he says, I know the brothers are going to be angry with me. Some of the sisters are going to be angry with me too. When Barbara Walters asked him, would someday the white man be allowed to join the Nation of Islam? This shows you that he was working with the government. And he says, someday they'll be able to go into the Nation of Islam. He used the example of Jesus. He said when his word first came, it came to his own. And since they didn't receive it, then it went out to the Gentile. This is not true. This is a misuse of the knowledge, brothers and sisters. The message is to the black man. It can only be useful for the black man. What the hell do we look like giving a message to the white man when he's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in today? No, my brothers and my sisters, this is trickery. This is tricknology. It's not intelligence, tricknology. Used by him and sent by the white man, and he himself is subsidized by the white man. And this is the reason why you see him using this white knowledge. This is the reason why you have Dianetics, the teaching of the L. Ron Hubbard. This is the reason why Minister Khalid was moved out of the way. In the first evolution, when the Nation of Islam was to become mainstream, they couldn't do it with a Dr. Khalid Muhammad who was saying the white man is the devil today, yesterday, and forevermore. They couldn't do it. Dr. Khalid Muhammad talked against the Catholic Church, thus talking against the friendship that the Minister Farrakhan had with Father Pflager. This is in the 80s and the 90s, brothers and sisters. And the finances of Minister Farrakhan had to do something about it, which was President Bill Clinton and the House of Representatives, House of Senate voted to put a muzzle on Dr. Khalid. This is 1993. Not only that, Dr. Khalid is put on suspension and pushed out of the Nation of Islam. And then we see the attack that was on his life in 1994 in Riverside, California. Brothers and sisters, you can't make this up. You can't make it up. Then you have Dr. Ava Muhammad, one of the most powerful sisters in America, teaching the knowledge of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and teaching, and peace be upon her, teaching the wisdom of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who said, we must separate or die from this beast that is killing us. Meanwhile, Farrakhan is embracing and united and being seen with Father Pflager even more. And I'm sure you would agree. If you go back and see this, I'm sure you will agree. There are those of us, brothers and sisters, since 1985, and I'm just one of them, that was speaking against this relationship that he has with this Catholic pedophile and killer of our two young brothers that he adopted, that the Catholic Archdiocese told him not to adopt, and when he did, they excommunicated him. And he was allowed to keep on this display of disrespect and danger toward our children. Besides, what would a white man want with black children when he had no desire for a woman? It's Catholic priest, the highest level of pedophilia that has ever been marked in this nation. This man, Farrakhan, befriends. Brothers and sisters, I seek the same thing you seek. It's answers. Not only that, but as the brother has pointed out, Brother Derek, not only that, but he's aligned himself with white Muslims, speaking of one that they recognize as Muhammad, who had no relationship, religiously or otherwise, with the black men and women of America, the black men and women of Africa. You have to know that. And brothers and sisters, we have to be wise. We have to be wise. As our sister is told us, birds of the same feather flock together. This is true. This is true. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to thumbs up, brothers and sisters. And please, whatever you do, please sponsor us tonight. Please, so we can keep the doors open of the last place that we have. The last place. And brother, you're right. He went to Iran twice when no one else could go out. When the American airplanes were grounded. He said they tried to kill him in Russia. We have no proof of this. We have no proof of this. The only thing we have is Farrakhan's words, which he has proven that can't be trusted among Muslims. This Farrakhan, who refused to bury Dr. Khalid Muhammad in Janazah and buried Dr. Ava Muhammad in Janazah in the highest disrespect ever showed to any Muslim. Fashionable Muslims with no discipline. That's right, sister. We need a prior to 75 fruit of Islam. That's true. With Khalid Muhammad, the fruit of Islam was impenetrable in the teachings and the level of security, unmatched only by the same system that was set up by Minister Malcolm X. And now you understand why the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Minister Malcolm that there's been a breach in the teaching of the Nation of Islam and even practices and the control of which he was not responsible for. Welcoming Minister Malcolm back into the fold. Brothers and sisters, we have a traitor in our midst. A traitor that is not a traitor over time, but someone that has been put there by the FBI and CIA to distort the teachings of black nationalism, black separation, and black empire building, and to distort our track to come out from this white man, this white devil that has enslaved us on physical, social, psychological, mental plantations, spiritual plantations that take away from who we are as a people. And there's been instituted a color code of white so-called red people and white so-called brown people over darker skinned people. Brothers and sisters, what kind of teaching is this, and what does this represent? What does it represent? You've got white people in the Nation of Islam teaching the message of the black man to black men. So much so that there's a color code of light over dark. I just want you to pay attention and see it, brothers and sisters. Pay attention and see it. That one of the major players in the assassination of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, of Minister Malcolm X, of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and Dr. Ava Muhammad sits in our midst, untouched, unchecked, uncharted. I just want you to know, the same man during the time of Wallace Waradeen Muhammad, the very same man causing confusion through the newspaper Muhammad Speak, such a man as Malcolm is worthy of death, in his article called Hypocrite in 1964. The confusion that he brought in 1963 in what he brought to Minister Malcolm didn't bring it to him. He brought it to Minister Malcolm. Brothers and sisters, you can find this. William Kunstler's book pointed all out. Other Muslims who were eyewitness to this. That the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad never trusted Minister Farrakhan. As a matter of fact, he called him a worm because he at one time tried to cause division, direct division between Minister Malcolm and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And by the time that Mr. Muhammad began to see this climate that was being created, the damage had already been done. And there was nothing more that he could do to correct the damage except allow it to happen and get behind it. Remember, brothers and sisters, you'll never chase a lie. My grandmother used to tell me that. She said, you'll never chase a lie. You'll never chase it. And the best thing you can do is let it go. That a lie is weighed in pounds and ounces, and the truth is weighed in tons. And the truth will eventually get there, but you gotta be patient and you gotta let it get there. Now it's time for truth. Now you can see that the brother is not in error. Now you can see that it was no mistake that Dr. Khalid would have found me, but through this and through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that was brought to me, that we get a chance to understand exactly what's going on. You're right, brother. You're right, Brother Derek. Minister Malcolm did bring a lot of that on himself because he allowed himself to be distorted by individuals that were bringing him lies and half-truths. And he should have been most careful. You're correct. But the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad understood this as well when he told Minister Malcolm to put out the fires that you've started and come on back into the nation. If you would recall, in December of 1964, February 14th of 1965, at the Freedom Now party in front of Minister Albert Cleage, Minister Malcolm gave the respect and the reestablishment back to Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he's on his way back into the Nation of Islam. The government could not allow this, and the kill button was set. And once the kill button was set, Minister Malcolm was assassinated, and Minister Farrakhan played a great role in that. When he was supposed to be at the mosque, 1964, 1965, Boston Mosque, number 11, he found himself in a Newark Mosque, organizing with the men that would kill Minister Malcolm, and then the dry run that was committed, which Farrakhan's own brother was a part of, inside of the Audubon Ballroom. The dry run that was committed was against Minister Malcolm's life. But the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad at that time was trying to restore Minister Malcolm. And they were in complete agreement of the restoration and the punishment that Minister Malcolm would receive, in the light that he would still yield his post, but be able to teach on the level of how the white man can both integrate and degrade the black man in his religious fanaticism and hypocrisy, and that how the black man in America could benefit from the teachings of the black man and what's required of him from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, brothers and sisters, the enemy didn't want this to happen. When you get Dr. Khalid, they said we would know him, right? We would know him, right? What we see here is not a man, but a seed. Dr. Khalid comes on the scene. Dr. Khalid comes on the scene in the era of Farrakhan's teaching. And we recognize in Dr. Khalid a lot of the same thing we recognize in Minister Malcolm X. So the sister says that's the reason why they name him Farrakhan. I agree. It means he who turned back and a star that is seen. That's true. That's true, sister. All praises be to Allah. I'm glad for you to point that out. It is the one of the footnotes in the green Quran. That's true. That's true. And I thank you. Feel free to post it. Feel free to post it. But his name does mean that anyone, all you have to do is search the name. Peace and greetings, King Kalanji. The father Malcolm was trusting in liars and those who thirsted for money and power. That's true, brother. Minister Malcolm allowed himself to be used. And our anger about it all the time because we know that our brother's heart was toward justice. But his mind allowed him to be used toward injustice by trusting in liars and teachers of half-truths. You're right, brother. You're right. And the desire that we have, that's why our desire must be to constantly follow the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and to fine-tooth comb any Muslim that is teaching the knowledge. Brothers and sisters, no one's against Farrakhan. Farrakhan is against himself because he's against the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I fine-tooth comb Minister Silas Muhammad. But the only difference is Minister Silas Muhammad would tell you to constantly check him that he be right and exact. A true Muslim will have no problem with you correcting them. A true Muslim will have no problem with you teaching them how to be right and exact. Brothers and sisters, if you say something here, it can be acknowledged and we'll discuss it. I can't teach it without you, and I can't learn without you, and vice versa. You can't teach it without me, and you can't learn without me. This is a united quest, and that was the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that it is united. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe, brothers and sisters, please. We can use that participation. Minister Malcolm, brothers and sisters, listen to liars and half-truth speakers. Minister Farrakhan was one. Wallace Waradim was one. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the iron sharpens iron in truth. In truth. We can upbraid one another. We can strengthen one another in truth. But lies and half-truth does nothing but chop us down. It's ineffectual. It's ineffectual. So we got to have effect, brothers and sisters. And we got to be standing in the holy place that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us. And that place is that we be truthful with ourselves, right and exact, and constantly looking in on ourselves and examining ourselves to see how we can shape ourselves to be better men and women. And brothers and sisters, this is our job. This is our job. This is what we have to do. Our brother allowed himself to be dwindled, Minister Malcolm. And we all make mistakes. We're entitled to make mistakes as long as we can correct them, brothers and sisters. As long as and that is the reason it says that iron sharpens iron. And when a Muslim upbraids you is for that intelligence. Well, what happens when your confidence and your line of intelligence, your line of wisdom has been breached by an agent? It is the utter destruction if you listen to lies and half truth. And I think this is the thing that Minister Malcolm shows us, that even in his heart, even in the falling of him from his post, from his stature, even at the claimant that had been set, Minister Malcolm still kept pride and dignity in turning around and putting out the fires that had been started so he could come back in and be able to teach Muslims on a different level. Brothers and sisters, we've got to be wise. We've got to be wise today. Don't forget that you can support us by buying a book. I just want to type this in. And hopefully I can put the link down correct link down so you'll be able to get this. And we're not begging, brothers and sisters, but we ask that you would help us to be able to sustain these teachings and the other programs that we have. And we need brothers and sisters constantly teaching programs. We have to constantly have programs for our children. A lot of our children are victims of parents that were on drugs. The parents are victims of the drug dealers. And we go in the community and we're cleaning street by street. But it is such an awesome and difficult task. And we ask brothers and sisters, wherever you are, that you make one room ready to be able to feed and house our children. They have no place to go. Many of them don't even have food in this hour. So we have to set foods in our pantry. We set them in the clinic here. We give them free mental help establish the families by putting them in our drug rehabilitation program and our treatment, and put them that's locked down within Muslim training, old Muslim training with those that also have medical knowledge, so we can help them. And we need to also help the children. We've got to feed the children as well, and that's what we do in our program. Those of you that are familiar with our program and what we do know that these are the things that we do to help keep a strong establishment in our community. And we encourage you to do the very same thing, because we have to do for self. We have to have a do for self mentality and a do for self philosophy. So please support us by buying a book. We still have to sell 10 books. We haven't sold one this month. We still have to sell 10. You can also support us by Liberation Group, which is the Cash App that we have. Liberation Group, whatever you decide and desire to put there. We also have a feeding program for the children that we're trying to make sure that keeps running as well. But brothers and sisters, we have to be steadfast. We've got to be unmovable. We have to be always abounding in the work that is before us, the work that God has set. And our brother said, we've got to stop placing Malcolm on this perfect person, right? Pedestal, and that's correct. He sold out the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir. I agree 100%, brothers and sisters. I agree 100% with Brother Derek Witherspoon. Minister Malcolm did sell out, and I said this on many occasions, and I'll say it with the brother. I'll stand with the brother on this, because this is correct. This is correct. He did indeed. He did indeed. Yes, brother. And I respect you for saying that. I respect you for having the guts and the power to say it, because I know it's difficult. Brothers and sisters right now would think that you're crazy. Think that I'm crazy too for speaking against Farrakhan. Speaking against not Farrakhan, but speaking against his lies and half-truths. How else is Farrakhan going to get better, right? Or even maybe gain salvation for himself, because he's already destroyed himself, but maybe gain some salvation if we don't upbraid him. How the people going to gain salvation if we don't upbraid Farrakhan? And this is true, brother. And I'm tired of it as well. I'm tired of us making excuses. We've got to be right and exact. We have to be. We have to be. I just want us to understand that all of us are vulnerable if we listen to lies and half-truths. And that's why my heart goes out. That's right, sister. The nonsense has to stop. That's why my heart goes out. My heart goes out to Nuri. My heart goes out to Wesley too, because they're on a reckless course, and they're teaching the bad knowledge, trying to defend Minister Farrakhan. You can't defend Farrakhan. His life is spoke for him. The work that he's done is speaking for him. And Nuri and Wesley are also agents working with the white man. One is working industrially with the white man. The other is working federally with the white man. And you'll see that this is true. I'm telling you something. I'm telling you what I know. You'll see that this is true. That Nuri is working federally with the white man. He was a drug dealer sent in for distortion and extortion of the Nation of Islam. And you look at Wesley Muhammad, and he's another that was sent in industrially. And And both of them are tied. I'm just saying, both of them are tied to the decolorization of the Nation of Islam. Same thing that Minister Farrakhan teaches. And there's so many things we have to look at. So many things that we have to look at. So many things we have to look at. And I agree. It is something to be tired of. But the only thing I do want to say is this. We still have to give honor to where honor is due. Minister Malcolm, before he was tricked, before he was manipulated by his brethren that was sent in as agents of the white man, we have to recognize the work that he did through the FOI. But yes, we must also recognize his deviation and his error as he began to be guided by these men, enough to even look into the personal life of the messenger. Because every man's personal life is his business, as long as it doesn't go against the teaching of Master Fard Muhammad and the teachings as it relates to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, as long as that teaching is respectable. Because we have to understand that there was no violation. There was no violation in the personal life of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if you listen to Minister Farrakhan, he himself have even spoken into the personal life of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I want you to understand that it was Farrakhan who brought these lies to Minister Malcolm. It was Wallace Waruddin Muhammad, the son of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eldest son of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who brought these lies to Minister Malcolm. And when Minister Malcolm went to speak to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad about the lies that had been told and the half-truth that had been told by these black demons that were sent in by the agents, then they beat him to the punch, turned another story with John Ali, the National Press Secretary, who was also an agent, FBI agent and CIA informant of the federal government. And all you have to do is get the Freedom of Information Act, and you'll see that this is true. So this was total manipulation by the enemy, and that Minister Farrakhan had been with the enemy the minute that he had been called in the nation and was set in the path of Minister Malcolm to distort the Nation of Islam. Brothers and sisters, all you have to do is open your eyes and see it. That's all you have to do is see it. And as time goes on, as our sister says, more will come to light. As time goes on, it's true that Minister Malcolm built the NOI. He built up to the organization that it was. But Minister Malcolm allowed himself to be used. He was taught, and he allowed himself to be used, not on purpose, but he should have trusted in the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He should have trusted in the teaching and not even listened to that enough to respond to it. Not even listen enough to respond to it. But it was manipulation, brothers and sisters, on so many levels, and troubles was being started from within. And these agents were set in to do that. And we have to have mercy on Minister Malcolm, brothers and sisters, because he's human. We're human. We're human, brothers and sisters. And our desire and our prayer is that we would do everything right and exact. But these bodies are limited. So we have to continue to fine-tune these bodies. We have to continue to fine-tune it. We have to continue to fine-tune these bodies so that we won't do that. We have to continue to do it. And brothers and sisters, our desire and our prayer is that we will be right. And we have to stand together in unity. In unity, there's strength. And we have to be convinced on the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Minister Malcolm recognized that. He's restored by Mr. Muhammad before he dies. And he was restored to come back to the Nation of Islam by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The government who's responsible for the demise, the government that was truly responsible for the demise, did not allow that to happen and killed our brother. So I just want to say that, and we're at peace with one another, brothers. We're not against one another. This is where we learn. We're at peace with one another, and we have to be on the same sheet of music for that. Our sisters told us, Sister Yafa told us that the more will come to light. More will come to light. As time goes on, as time progresses, more will come to light, and that is true. Our brother Derek said the ages of the so-called teenagers. Malcolm went to Africa and Mecca twice in 59 and 61. That's true. That is true. Our brother Nigga says, what age did Malcolm say the teenagers were? We know that they were heightened teenagers. I believe once he admitted that these sisters were in 18, and these were full-grown women for the times, considered full-grown women. But one was that they were 18 between the ages of 17 and 18. But again, they were full-grown women, and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had broke no code, not even in the code of polygamy, because he was able to marry. And Sister Clara was in line with the teachings. And that's what's important. That's what's important. Now, brothers and sisters, there's some other things that we must acknowledge too. That Sister Betty also influenced Minister Malcolm toward the decision of this investigation, in so much so that they had a fight about it prior to any of this. So we have to be aware of that. We certainly have to be aware of that. Now, the key thing is this, is that the enemy, brothers and sisters, the enemy is the cause of this confusion. That's the important thing for us to remember. Not for us to be upset with one another. Not to be upset with one another. Yeah, there were those that was 21, and there were older ones, but the earliest age was 18 years of age. Earliest age was 18 years of age. But the key thing is this, that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad broke no rules. There was no real violation. There was no real violation. Hindsight, as intelligent brothers and sisters, it is difficult for a leader to live his life personally when brothers and sisters are so close to him that they're judging his every move. And we have to understand the pressure on the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to fulfill his destiny, to fulfill the destiny for black people. And so, brothers and sisters, we're at peace with one another. We're certainly at peace. Peace be unto you, Brother Chabaka. Peace be unto you. We have to stand on principle today. That's true. We have to stand on principle today. And we have to be united, brothers and sisters. You know, and we have to agree to disagree. We have to agree to disagree. And yes, brother, you're correct. I'm not debating anything with you, Brother Derek. I know that you're right, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. And I believe the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has 23 children altogether. So I believe all of us are right and exact, and we're pointing to the very same thing. All of us are on the same sheet of music. The key thing that I want to say is simply this, is that we have to rely on the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that we don't deviate. And we find the bulk of it is to separate from the white man, that we can deliver our black people. And brothers and sisters, if we're on that sheet of music, we're in the right place. Can we get some agreements on that, brothers? Get some agreements on that. And Brother Shabaka says the money meant more than the people. Brother, I think that to ministers that had distorted the teaching, because if you'll pay attention to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was building up an enterprise, but he made the enterprise open to Muslims. If they wanted to open businesses, he sponsored them in those businesses so that you could build it up for black people. So that's all I want to say on that. So we're on the same sheet of music. Minister Malcolm did make a mistake, brothers and sisters. We can't deny that. He made some mistakes. But many of us would have made the same mistakes at the age that Minister Malcolm was, and considering his position spiritually and physically, and his love for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and certain unreal expectations, right? Such as the killing of Ronald Stokes, and Minister Malcolm wanted the act. He wanted to act against the killing of Ronald Stokes. It would have compromised everything that Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing at that point. Not that Mr. Muhammad wasn't going to move to that point, but at that time, you couldn't be hasty and make a move like that, because you would cost the Muslims their lives, Muslim children their lives, and Muslim men their lives. And we can't allow our emotions to cause us to speak early or to speak ill. We have to be slow to speak, quick to hear, so that we'll be able to move in the momentum that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is discussed and expressed. Now, in our time is totally different. We have to be ready to stand up in these times to defend ourselves. So this is a changing of time, right? The theology of time. And that's what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying. So we have to have some understanding, and we have to understand that many of us have different perspectives and different views, different perspectives, different views. But iron sharpens iron, and intelligence, and we can talk with one another and discuss these things with one another, while we can keep one another in the same spirit of being right and being exact. Being right and being exact. So yes, the money for many Muslims have become important opposed to the ministry. But I want to be clear that this wasn't the case with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It wasn't the case with him. Was that the case with many Muslims? Yes. Yes, that's true. And our sister said Malcolm had a past too. So he was in no position to judge the messenger that gave him a platform, and that's the truth. This is true. This is true. So we have to accept that. But Brother Shabaka is right. Our sister is right. Our sister is right. But let's keep in knowledge that the messenger and the teacher was right and exact. The messenger and the teacher was right and exact. A copy of the Supreme Wisdom lesson, sister. Yes. We can certainly get that for you. We can certainly get that for you and send it to you through PDF. We can certainly get that for you. Brother Shabaka says we must continue to organize for truth, justice, freedom for Black people, and that's the truth. That's the whole purpose of us being here, Brother Derek, Maurice. You know, like I know, that most Black people do not know what Malcolm did behind closed doors. This is true. And I'm not denying that, brother. I'm not denying that at all. And that's what I'm saying, is there was conversations prior to any of the incident that Sister Betty and Minister Malcolm had went rounds about. So there's a lot more to it than is revealed in books. But if you'll I have a 1 through 4, Who Killed Minister Malcolm X and Why, you'll see in those books the whole truth, and that the brother Derek has strong point. Brother Nagus Kalungi has very strong point. And but I want you to understand this, that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was right and exact in the knowledge and the teaching that was given to him by Master Fard Muhammad. That's all I want to say. And we have to be knowledgeable of that. We love Minister Malcolm. Minister Malcolm did error. We love him. I love Minister Malcolm. I respect Minister Malcolm. I respect the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the teachings he had. And Malcolm, out of ignorance, did deviate out of ignorance. And you have to understand that the enemy knew that Minister Malcolm was the best tool the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad made Minister Malcolm the standard. And the enemy went against Minister Malcolm. And I think, Brother Kalungi, this is all the brother is saying. All the brother is saying. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad should be able to live a life as a leader. To be able to live a life as a leader and not have to be under a microscope from those that should bear him up. I don't think that we'll find any of us that are not learning better every day. I'm sure we can all agree on that. All of us are learning better every day. And many of us may do things that are in wisdom that children won't understand. Isn't that right? If you have a son or you have a daughter, you will do things now that children don't understand, right? That they don't understand. But in the fullness of time, in the theology of time, then we come to all knowledge and all wisdom where we begin to understand one another. And we have to admit that both Minister Malcolm and both the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had understood the evolution, understood the discourse, understood the failure, and Minister Malcolm himself admitted that he made certain mistakes, and he righted those wrong. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was willing to restore him, willing to restore him, and Minister Malcolm was on his way back into the Nation of Islam, and that was a peace brought between the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Malcolm X, and we have to accept that. We are people, no matter who we worship. That's true. That's true. And as people, we've got to come together. So that's a desire, my prayer, brothers and sisters, that we be on the same sheet of music. Be on the same sheet of music. And so, you know, we have to be careful with the teachings of Wesley Muhammad. You have to be careful because you'll see this in the future. And I challenge any of you to observe this, that Minister Wesley, Nuri, and also Ishmael are key components of the federal government that would be used after the death of Minister Farrakhan to take the Nation of Islam in a totally different direction. Brothers and sisters, it's already happening now. So I would tell you, be careful with the books and teaching of Wesley Muhammad. Now, I want to say this. Wesley is wrong. He's right about the assassination plot against Minister Malcolm and those that were involved in breaching the security, such as Benjamin Goodman, such as Sister Shirley, that Benjamin Goodman was being unlawful with. James 67X had a problem with it, but he himself was sent in by the U.S. government to be certain that that assassination attempt happened. Those three waited in the back after the shooting was happened. This is very irregular. This is very irregular. Now, I want to say this. But Wesley is wrong about Luke Mon, because Luke Mon was sent to save Minister Malcolm with the full knowledge of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And brothers and sisters, you can get this same knowledge in Freedom of Information Act, and there are other Muslims that can hold account and tell you what was going on. So you have to understand this, but let's not be divided on that. Let's have some understanding. Let's have some understanding that our job is to keep alive and well the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And brothers and sisters, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that we can all come together. It's true, Minister Derek. This is true. This is true. There's another book written that I challenge you to get. It's a book written by Ital Ayman, and first a hand account of things that transpired. Also, I wish many of you, I was very privileged to listen to Brother Lucius Bey. Brother Lucius Bey was a minister that trained Minister Malcolm, Jeremiah 36X, and many of the other aggressive Muslims and intelligent Muslims that build things up. And I just want to tell you that Ital Ayman, there's a book that you can get, Brother Derek, with Ital Ayman, which would shed light on that too. Brother Nagus, King Kalanji, that book, I think both of you all would appreciate that book. But remember, the FBI files has a lot of stuff that is marked out, and even the information that we had gotten had been distorted, and a lot of it was blacking out in FBI files. So again, these are half-truths that the FBI is sending out. Now, there's accuracies in it, in the sense of the death reports and things of that nature. But I want you all to know that Sister Betty, Minister Malcolm's own wife, submitted information and had information to give that they wouldn't even accept. They wouldn't even accept it. Good thing, brother, you have that book. All praises be to Allah. Brother Kalonji. All praise be to Allah. And all of you should get those books. And also, like I told you, Sister Betty, there's a book coming out where Sister Betty has said all of these things. They had a testimony. She even went around the nation speaking on it. And the federal government refused to listen to Sister Betty. Also, Minister Farrakhan's brother had a deep involvement in a lot of this mischief making too, and he lived right down the street from Minister Malcolm X. So yeah, there's certainly Lucius Bay, brother Derek, certainly Lucius Bay. Oh yes, I had a chance to really be with him when I was with Dr. Khaled and Brother Steve, and at that time James Muhammad was keeping watch of Minister Lucius Bay in Atlanta, Georgia. In Atlanta, I spent time with him in Atlanta, Georgia, spent time with him in Marietta, Georgia, and I mean 4 great years of my life. 4 great years of my life. And yes, I love that brother, but Brother Lucius was very right and exact, and I have a lot of quotes that he said, a lot of information, and I'm trying to finish it. Be careful so that the truth will come out right and exact, but so I can also yield those books to you all as well, and tell you where other writings are, because like I said, Atar Ayman, the writing that he has is a very powerful writing, and that writing was guided by Brother Lucius. That writing was guided, and Luke Mann, this writing was guided. So I want y'all to understand that once the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad saw exactly what was happening, and he saw it quicker than anybody, quickly he tried to get some protection sent out for Minister Malcolm. This is a fact, brothers and sisters. This is not made up, it's a fact. Brother Luke Mann was that protection. Brother Luke Mann and his army was that protection. And that's why I say get the book by Brother Atar Ayman. And let's see. Let's see here. His name is Atar Ayman. Brother Atar Ayman. And I'll put that down for you. So you would certainly have that. Brother King Kalonji, I rate the brother Elijah. I just don't respect the followers speaking ill of Brother Malcolm. Certainly, I'm not speaking ill of Brother Minister Malcolm, and no, we don't endorse anyone speaking ill of Minister Malcolm. But at the same time, we just want them to recognize that, brothers and sisters, that mistakes were made in the infancy of the organization, and the organization did produce a child, right, that the enemy tried to destroy, but that in the winter of discontent, that person they thought they would destroy was part of the prophecy, where the seed would be planted, and out of the seed come what? Us. We come out of, we are the fruit of the seed. Fruit of the seed. So I give praises and respect to Allah for all of us being together on that and having some understanding, because we do see that that there has been strong deviation. Our sister said it's on his YouTube page. Atar Ayman. Thank you, sister. So the sister said, Sister Yapa said it's on the brother's YouTube page. And Brother Shabaka said, anytime you're not building an organization, black people, you have deviated. That's true. That's true. That is certainly true. And Brother Derek says, Brother Kalonji says facts. Brother Shabaka, Brother Derek says he's made too many serious mistakes, brother. Damn, and that's true. That's true. That's true. And so, you know, none of us, brothers and sisters, are beyond reproach. None of us are beyond reproach. And the key thing is this, is that we would be steadfast in the teaching. These things that happen, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, will be for our learning, right? These things will be for our learning. So, brothers and sisters, we have to learn from it so that we won't offend it. We have to learn from it. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe, brothers and sisters. And please, don't forget to bless us in the Cash App, and to please purchase a book, because it goes over a lot of this stuff. And the other books that you have desire or need of, I'll make sure that I get those books to you. When you order a book, brothers and sisters, and you want to talk further in this knowledge, then you could also just email me. We can certainly Zoom one another. I have no problem doing that. If you set up a time, I have no problem Zooming with you so we can continue to talk. So because this is important, and I see when Dr. Ava was putting out the same knowledge, you see why they killed her. You see why they killed her. When Sister Ava was putting out the same knowledge, she ended up dead. See, the enemy is still working behind people. You remember when Dr. Khaled, brothers and sisters, said that if you say it's the system, right, and not the white man, it's the system, he said you sound like a fool. Isn't that right? That's what Dr. Khaled said in his speech, No More Negro Stuff. He said if you say it's the system and you say it's not the white man, he says it's a fool. He says like saying it's the spider web. It's not the spider. If you destroy the web, the white man will weave another web. We've got to get the spider. We got to get the white spider. We got to get the white spider web. Isn't that right? So we have to be wise toward that. Peace and greetings, Brother Cedric. Salam alaikum. Speak on the past existence that would never return and don't know where we're going in the future by the energy that we put out in the present. That's true, brother. But we have a focus in the future. Our focus in the future is with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teaching as given to him by Master Fard Muhammad, and that we as black people have to separate from this enemy. That's our move in the future and our move in the present. The same teaching that Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had in the past, that we will separate from this enemy and get out. So Dr. Ava said the same thing, didn't she? She said we have to separate and do for ourselves. Minister Malcolm said the same thing. We've got to separate, and the black man's got to do something for himself and stop asking his enemy to do something for him. Dr. Khalid Muhammad said it, didn't he? He said we have to separate. We have to separate, brothers and sisters, and do something for ourselves. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad certainly said it, that the message to the black man has to be a message that what he will do for himself, and stop asking the white man who put him in this situation to do for him, but he has to do for himself. So I'm sure that we all agree that separation is a must, that we all agree that we have to separate. And in our separation, then we can be found blameless, and we can be found teaching the knowledge of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Dr. Ava Muhammad was teaching separation, and separation or death. And can I put that down, brothers and sisters? I just want to put that down. The key is separation or death. And that's what our sister was telling us. That's what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was telling us. Separation or death. And that's the knowledge and teaching and training of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, brothers and sisters, if you don't have a message to the black man, we ask you to donate, and we'll certainly get it out to you, so you'll have a message to the black man. You certainly need message to the black man. And as you know, in all of these foundations, I've been putting everything in perspective, right and exact, following even the code of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and having these discussions as Muhammad's study group has taught us, so that we'll be able to go over the message to the black man and be able to read it together. And that is our ultimate purpose, and to continue to talk about what's going on every time something comes out, to be able to show what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that these things will happen. And so we can't deny it. We see that these things are happening. And in the theology of time, as our sister has told us, in the theology of time, right? She said all these things will be revealed. And that's correct, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says it. The same thing that our sister have been saying, right? MDC, that in the time, in the theology of time, the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that these things will certainly be revealed. Sister, yes, I put the email in there for you. The scientist, excuse me, brother. I put the email in there for you, so that you certainly can have that and be able to reach out. And anyone that would like to bless us and donate and want a book, you can have that email. If you want to Zoom, I'll set aside time. I just need the time to set aside so we can Zoom and talk about organizing this show more so, and organizing the truth that we're speaking, and being able to get the supporters. You're the pillars of these shows so we can continue to put out the truth, brothers and sisters. I can't do it without you, and you can't do it without me. We need each other to do it, and we have to be together in study and together in debate. And we can agree to disagree, but we still must have love for one another, brothers and sisters, and respect for one another as we put out the truth, and be able to be sharpened as iron, because iron sharpens iron. And so, brothers and sisters, I think this has been a great lesson tonight, and I want to thank you for your participation. And brothers and sisters, please be with us again. I ask you to be with us again, because we need you, certainly need you. And I enjoy all of the participation and anything that's said. Everything that's said is the right thing that should have been said, as Dr. Khalid taught us, and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. Minister Malcolm also said it. Dr. Ava Muhammad also said it. Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad also said it, that there's nothing said in a discussion that doesn't need to be said, and everything that's said needs to be said, so that you and I will be right and exact. And you'll find that at the end of that discussion that we'll all be on the same sheet of music. So, brothers and sisters, I say peace be unto you. And peace be unto us all, because we need peace. The peace that surpasses all understanding. So I want to make sure that I type that, and forgive me, brothers and sisters, about my slowness of typing to you. And I say it to you, assalamu alaikum. Brother Derek, certainly we need a national private meeting amongst the real black men. That's true. And I want to say this, Brother Derek, that's why I was saying before. Remember, we're changing the date. It was supposed to be the last week in October. It's supposed to be, rather, the last week in September. We're going to have to move that to the last week in November. And we know that many of the people are discussing the day of massacre in November. But we're going to do it to be able to do something for our sister Ava, and that will be in Atlanta, Georgia. And we'll be able, all of us will be able to meet together. You all will have that knowledge. Everybody on this show, the last week of November, we have to change the meeting from the last week in September to the last week of November, where all of us will be meeting. We'll be meeting to give honor and praise to our sister, Dr. Ava Muhammad. Not only that, but we'll have the panel at that time where we'll be discussing these things. And it will be a private meeting of brothers, private meeting of sisters, and we'll all be in. No white people are allowed. No white people will be involved. And all of us will be in there at this point in time. And I'll let you know the place that we can meet. And no matter where you are, when you come there, we pray that we'll have room and everything set aside for everyone, so that we can make you as comfortable as possible. We'll have even sleeping arrangements, make you comfortable as possible. So, brothers and sisters, we want to thank you very much tonight, and want to thank you all for helping us. Thank you, sister, for your help, Sister MDC. Thank you, the scientists, and everyone. Just want to thank everyone for coming on and participating the way that you did. I want to thank you, and I love you very much, and I mean that when I say it. And I want you to love your brothers and sisters. Some you may not have spoken to or may not be at peace with, but I certainly want you to create a level of peace where you can have respect and love for one another. We will be meeting, certainly we will be meeting, and it would be the last week in November. Brothers and sisters, all of you all need to be there, because I certainly need you, and I want this discussion. I'll be writing on this discussion that we're having, and it will be a chief topic. It will be a chief topic. So certainly I want all of you all there. You'll be on the panel. Please, brothers and sisters, I ask that you come. Please, I ask that you come. The last week in November, we will be in Atlanta, Georgia, and you will have that information as to where, when, and what. And we'll send that to you privately. You all have my email, and all I ask is that you all would just keep in touch, and I certainly respond, and we'll be having Zoom meetings to discuss it further for you. So don't worry, we're certainly coming together, and with all praises be to Allah, we're certainly doing the job that God wants us to do. And thank you, brother scientist. Thank you, brother King Kalanji. Thank you, brother Derek, and all of the ones on here. Thank you, sister. Our sisters that are on here, all the individuals that are on here. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night. Very much as we go deeper into the situation, brothers and sisters. Don't forget to do what you can, and if you can't, just find someone else who's able to do, and encourage them to do what they can for us, so that we can continue to do the work. We want to continue to do the work of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is the key. And I can't do it without you. I can't do it without you. I need your help. I need your help. We're trying to keep the doors open. Also, I got good news, brothers and sisters. I want to say this before I leave. Excuse me very much. I want to say this before I leave. We have the mission now. We found the building that the mission is going to be in. We found the building that the mission is going to be in. So now, brothers and sisters, all we have to do is do the work in it. So now whatever you see, and you'll see it. I'm going to show you pictures of the mission. I'm going to try to film it the best way I can and place it within the next show that we have. Place it in the next show that we have. And so we certainly appreciate that, brother Derek, and what you are saying, and brother King Kalunji. And that main thing is that we're all on the same sheet of music. And I think that we're all on the same sheet of music. And that's the key thing. So, but we have the mission. We have the mission. So we ask you to, we need sheetrock for that. And it will get people out of the cold in the wintertime. And so, brothers and sisters, we certainly want to do that. But please, you don't forget Atlanta, Georgia, the last week in November. Atlanta, Georgia, the last week in November. And I have that information for you. And we'll be organizing more so as the day approaches. So, brothers and sisters, peace be unto you. I love you all. And I say, again to you, peace. Assalamu alaikum.